Y'all ready for your Eddie Watkins fix for today? Hey, I'm walking
in the Spirit.
Said I'm talking
In the Spirit.
I'm learning
In the Spirit.
and I'm turning
In the Spirit.
I'm growing
In the Spirit.
yes, and it's showing. Said I'm walking with the Spirit in front of me. Yeah, let's do that again. I said I'm walking
In the Spirit.
and I'm talking
In the Spirit.
I'm learning
In the Spirit.
and I'm turning
In the Spirit.
every day. I'm growing
In the Spirit.
and it's showing. Oh yes it is. I said I'm walking with the Spirit in front of me. Yeah. Woo. Oh now, when I find myself in one of those situations, oh, that's leading me to some kind of drama or confrontation. Well, I go with it. I said I get plugged in to my bed before it's too late. I set a Spirit in front of me to make those crooked places straight. I said I'm walking
In the Spirit.
and I'm talking.
In the Spirit.
I'm learning
In the Spirit.
and I'm turning.
In the Spirit.
I'm always growing.
In the Spirit.
Woo-hoo, and it's showing. Yeah, yeah. I'm just walking with the Spirit in front of me. I'm walking.
In the Spirit.
I'm talking.
In the Spirit.
I'm learning.
In the Spirit.
I said I'm turning. Yeah. I'm just growing in the Spirit, and it's showing. In the Spirit, I'm just walking with the Spirit in front of me. Yeah. Well, now let me say something. When I find myself in one of those situations when I don't know what to do, and I got no explanation. Well, I just go within and I get plugged in. I plugged in for a revelation. 10 times out of 9 days I work out fine without my participation. I'm walking.
In the Spirit.
I said I'm talking.
In the Spirit.
I'm just learning
In the Spirit.
and I'm turning.
In the Spirit.
I am growing
In the Spirit.
and it's showing. Oh, every day I'm walking with the Spirit in front of me. Yeah, I got to do it again. I said I'm walking with the Spirit. I'm talking with the Spirit. Come on, shout it out if you're learning with the Spirit. Are you turning? I'm always growing with the Spirit, and it's showing. I'm walking with the Spirit in front of me. I'm walking with the Spirit. I said I'm walking with the Spirit in front of me. Yeah. One more time. I'm walking with the Spirit in front of me. Yeah.
Go on with your bad self. Go on with your bad self, Andrew and singers. Woo! All right, I gotta rest. Y'all give me about 15 minutes and I'll be all right. Oh, I better get busy. I don't have 15 minutes. Wow. Walking with the Spirit in front of me. Man, make the crooked places straight, right? Okay, some of y'all don't want to be straight, but that's okay. It's a metaphor. Woo, it's hot in here. Really. You know what I love? It doesn't matter what's going on in the world. It doesn't matter what the weather is. We get here. We stand within our own selves, right? And so, look, we had to go through a few things, maybe a few puddles, maybe, some traffic. But here we are to walk with the Spirit in front of us. And so we really love for our time together to be one of celebration. So I really appreciate that we started our service in not such a celebratory place, and yet here we are. So we get to hold all of it. It's the both and. And so we are talking about this Prime the Pump. It's the last Sunday in which we're doing that. And all month it's been about this topic known as prosperity consciousness. And there is a difference in having the consciousness of prosperity versus, hey, I want some prosperity right now. Please, God, give me some. And so if you missed it, first Sunday, Dr. Peacher talked about the laws and how we can overflow our life by using the laws. So if you weren't here, watch that one. If you weren't here for the second Sunday, you missed some crazy stuff, so you want to watch it. I talked about mental equivalence and rolled out some spools. If you don't know what that is, you need to watch it. And then last Sunday, Dr. Peacher talked about the abundance in the universe and how that is truly what our life is. And so today, we're wrapping it up, at least on the Sunday portion of it, we're wrapping it up with perhaps one of the most significant ways in which we can all ignite and unleash the abundance in our life. And I know y'all are just going to be so excited when I tell you what what moves through you is all about. I know you're excited because it's about sacred giving and tithing. Okay, and I'm curious how many people, when I said the T word, just went inside like, come on, show me. No one will see, just me, show me. Oh, well, I must be in the right place. Now I expect tithing from everyone in the community because nobody went, Good. So, one of the Bible verses that I love to discern, and it's talked about a lot in churches, is from Malachi when we start talking about this topic, and it says, bring the whole tithe into the storehouse. Have y'all heard that before? Bring the whole tithe into the storehouse. And in science of mind and in metaphysical principles, we really talk about bring the whole tithe is this whole commitment to work with the law. To work with the law in all areas and aspects of our life. And so today, we're going to talk about the law of giving. The law of giving and how it relates to the law of giving and receiving. And in that same Bible verse in Malachi, there's these three words that I invite you to take up. Prove me now. Prove me now. And I believe that what Malachi is really talking about is prove the law. Prove me now. And so we're here to prove that the law works. That put this law in action and to prove that it works all the time. And so we are building a life that's about consciousness and to take this total commitment to achieving in all the areas and aspects of our life that we want to achieve this high level of consciousness. And so Jesus, in his short time walking the planet after, he sort of, quote, became a minister, he put a lot of prime emphasis on giving. And he, over and over again, would say, give and you will receive. Give and you will receive. So if we begin to think of the areas and aspects of our life and how we can give, can we begin to think of our work as an opportunity to give? Can we think of every relationship, especially our intimate relationships, our close family relationships, as an opportunity to give? If we can use our friendships as an opportunity to give, if we can use our children, our neighbors, passers-by on the street, and we begin to think, give, right? And give away, let go, let God, we become more of this innate thing that we already are, and that's a giving machine. So we're going to talk about sacred giving, and I want to start with Ernest Holmes. Beautiful quote, rather long, so I'm not giving you in up there, but just listen to this. Real giving is the art of transmitting ourselves to others and to the conditions, and we have a few, to the conditions and situations that surround us. This kind of giving is not something for special occasions only. It's not just for Christmas, right? But it should become a habit growing out of our desire to live life to the fullest extent. Only that which becomes an inward habit of thought can spontaneously flow from the heart and transmit itself to everything we touch. Just as life belongs to the one who lives it, to the one who takes it, so the fuller life belongs only to the one who scatters every good he or she has. Imagine, we're here to scatter every good that we each have. And it is in the giving of oneself to every person, Holmes tells us, every person, every project, and every association with zest and love. So with enthusiasm and love. And so, it becomes a habit. That's a key word in that quote. And to do it with zest and love. If I were to say, Willie, here, take this book. I want you to have it. Take it. No, I want you to have it. I know you want it, just take it. Well, notice she ain't taking it, first of all. That's another talk on working on your receivership. That's okay. But you felt the energy difference, right? It's instant, we know. And so we're to develop a habit, this giving consciousness. That's the habit, this spontaneousness of our givingness, because it's just who we are. We don't have to think twice about it. Therefore, we don't clench it, whatever it is. We don't hoard it. We don't hold on to it. It becomes a habit. So I want to talk about two groups of people today. That's all I'm going to say. And there are the givers and the takers. Do you know those groups? I know there are a lot of other groups of people. We're just going to talk about two groups, the givers and the takers. Anybody know givers? Anybody know takers? Anybody don't know either? Okay, yeah, okay. So the takers are basically the people who believe that their lives are always be the total of what they can get from the world. You know, my whole life is about what I can get. They're always thinking, get, right? They plan and perhaps scheme a way to get things. They want to get money. They want to get love. They want to just get. And they want to get some happiness. And the interesting thing about the takers is that no matter what they get and how much they get, they're not ever happy and they're not ever satisfied. They're always looking to get more, right? So not ever feeling a sense of security or a sense of fulfillment. It's this, what's in it for me? What's in it for me in this relationship, in this friendship, and work, whatever. They're perhaps only there to get a paycheck. The only reason why they might show up for work is to get that paycheck. And if we choose that, and we're spending so much time, typically in our work, if we choose that the only reason why we're there is to get a paycheck, we're probably shortchanging ourselves. Just a little bit, right? Now, givers on the other hand, are convinced that life is this whole giving process. It's this whole giving process. And so there's this subtle motivation in everything that givers do to just basically give themselves away. Here, take me, please, right? In a healthy way, giving themselves away. So giving themselves away in love and service to whatever they're doing, and volunteering, and all the helpful ways that they can come up with to invest themselves, and just invest themselves. Isn't that interesting? To just give themselves away. And givers are sort of, if you've known some, they're pretty secure in their life, and they intuitively know that all this good that I am giving away comes from within. Okay, I'm giving y'all some Bible quotes today, so just hang on. So one of the most, if not the most popular phrase that is quoted, their bumper stickers, all this, in the Christian faith is John 3:16. Anybody know that without me saying it? Oh, look, there. John 3:16. And you'll know it when I start. For God so loved the world that he gave. Okay, so, great. Okay, come back. We got John 3:16. Now, punctuation can be very important. It's okay. I'm going to repeat it again. Punctuation can be very important. So I'm going to put a period to emphasize. Ready? For God so loved the world that he gave. Period. Ooh, that changes everything. No matter what faith tradition we're from. For God so loved the world that he, she, it, whatever feels, gave. Period. Right? So God is this divine givingness in the universe. That is its nature. That is what God is here to be. And God, think about it, God unabashedly gives to itself all the time. I don't know that there is a spot where God is not giving. We know there's a spot where God is not, but there's not a spot where God is not giving. And you and I are created in the image and the likeness of this divine givingness. It is our nature. That is who we came here to be. So, here's the key, if we're working on our prosperity, we cannot realize the free flow of substance in anything, and certainly not in all things, unless we begin to see ourselves as givers. For that is our nature. So when we're on our spiritual journey and we seek this unitive relationship with divine flow, like I want to be in the flow, this divine flow, I want to be one with God, we can achieve this by when giving becomes the main thrust of our life. Okay? And therefore we begin to start to discover the wonder of giving. And what I want for all of us, it's the one time I'll say incurable. I want us to be incurable givers. Incurable givers. And discover this wonder of giving, the quality in which we show up in everything. One can say you can give yourself to your work. It's the quality in which we show up in the giving to that work. It doesn't mean, okay, work twice as hard and you're going to get more pay or whatever it is. It's the quality. And certainly not to become a martyr in like, well, I'm giving and I'm giving and I'm giving. And to, be that subtle martyrdom. Y'all know a little bit about that? Okay, I'm going to move on then. So, because as we give more, and the way in which we do it from the inside out, we are igniting the law of causation. And the law is exact. If you give and hold that giving consciousness, you must receive. You must receive. Luke 6:38, give and it will be given to you, a good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. It'll be poured into your lap. So this divine flow, this God, Spirit, the only thing that it requires of you is to actually be a receiving channel. Be a receiving channel. And if we think about the water faucet must be open to the flow. We've been seeing it all month. It must be open to the flow in order for the water to pour freely out. So we must be open to receive and to be that vessel and to allow that water to pour freely out just like a faucet. And how many faucets can we use in our life as a reminder? Every time we see a faucet and we do this, we can remind ourselves, be open to the flow of the giving and receiving of life. So in a giving state of consciousness, there's this whole thing about, well, how can I give today? And as we continue to develop this habit of thank give, so shall we get. Feel the difference? Instead of I want to get, we open to I want to give. So I invite us all to become a committed giver. Who's with me to become a committed giver? Well, I got to say, pretty much all of you who just raised your hand is already a committed giver in this community. You are, I know I'm preaching to the choir, you're already a committed giver. And so we know that because there are so many committed givers here, we're all getting to receive our good from here. See how it works? We're giving and we're receiving. Giving and we're receiving here because we are committed givers. Now, again, Jesus said, give and it shall be given to you. And he taught the law of consciousness. And in that law of consciousness, each time we are at choice, we get to choose. We have the freedom of choice, and we get to live by the effects of our choice. So as you receive more, you can choose to give more or not. It's up to you, right? We have the freedom to choose. And so you can choose to be a committed giver, a financial committed giver, and here it comes, you can choose to be a tither. And so I want to give, because how many of us come from a religious background that might not have felt so good, especially when we heard the word tithing brought up? Right. So I want to give us a new analogy so that each of us can benefit for our own life. Because if we hold it the same way and don't benefit anymore, it serves no one else and it doesn't serve us. So I want to give us a new analogy. Think of it like training wheels. Tithing is, or deciding to become a committed giver is like training wheels. Okay? So how many people, when they decided that if you can remember this far back, when you wanted to ride a bike, your parents gave you training wheels? Hold your hand up and look around. Okay? How many people, when they wanted to ride a bike, they just said, I'm going to get on this bike and I'm going for it? How many people did that? Look around. Okay? So some of us had training wheels and some of us didn't. Some of us just went straight for riding a bike. Well, bicycle riding in and of itself is based on a law, and that's the law of balance and the law of inertia. Okay? So those are laws, and the training wheels have nothing to do with the laws by which this bicycle gets propelled. However, training wheels simply help the rider to experience the working of the law. You get it? So I can choose to use training wheels to help me experience the joy and the freedom and the fastness and jumping or going, there's mountain bike riders, there's road, there's just on the beach, do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do. She has a hybrid now. But it was like, So we have all these different experiences, but we all want to experience, for the most part, we like to experience riding a bike because of the freedom it gives us and the joy that it brings into our life. So tithing's not the end, it's a helpful means to the end of living totally in a giving consciousness. Who has any form of money? I don't care if it's $1 or $100. And the first one that can hold it up so I can come grab it. I just need one. Oh, Val. Oh, Val has a 10. All right, thank you, Val. I didn't tell you you're not getting it back. Way to be a committed giver. So I use the practice of sacred giving to give me to get me into a consistent practice of tithing. And it took me a while. So this is God in action. That is all it is. Just like everything else is God in action. But money's funny. This is God in action. And so I used the practice of committed giving to get me towards tithing. Now, Dr. Peacher has spoken about this before. I don't think 10% is some magic number. I really don't. I don't think it's some magic number. And yet, it seems to stretch a lot of people, doesn't it? Okay. Stretches me. And it's sort of this amount that can stretch us. And so I wanted to get to tithing. From, being in the Christian roots, I wanted to get there. I wanted to be a tither. And so I started slowly. And I started, whatever it was, 1%. And I was like, I had my training wheels on. I'm like, hey, I can do this. 2%. Eventually, it took a while, but I took the wheels off my bike. And since 2000, so that's 16 years, I've given at least 10% of my gross income away. Just let it pass through me. It just moves through me. It's not mine to begin with. It's just moving through me. It's God in action. And I'm just sharing my experience so perhaps it can open the flow for you. Now, there was a point there, Karen, and you just lost it. When I got there was, in 2000, I actually was making multiple six figures. I had, as I shared on the spool day, I had unlimited earning potentials. That's one of the things I wanted. And I was making multiple six figures. And yet, I was in the tithing practice. I'm still in the tithing practice. I am a committed giver. I'm a minister now. I don't make even the first six figure. Y'all, come on, get to be a committed giver even more. No, that's another talk. But I can tell you, as you are all my witness, I have never, ever felt so prosperous in my life till now. And the interesting thing is back then I would pay for everything. Now, all of a sudden, there are people in my life that say, well, I have this place and so. Would you like to stay there for free? Yes. And, so all these things are coming into my life in different forms of God in action. So, it doesn't take as much of this. But I still am a committed giver and a tither. And that's over 10% of my gross income. And 10% at least comes right back here. Same place that gives, gets it back. And so I've experienced the bicycle and how good it is for my life. So that's why we want to tell you that this is tangible. One can count it. One can consider it. One can give it. It's tangible. So this is merely a tangible way for you to know that the law of giving works. So we invite you to get in the flow and get this action of God full force in your life. Okay, so another way to experience this law of giving and receiving is I invite you to take a real deep breath. Take another deep breath. Take another. Come on, take another. Okay, let it go. We can't just take it in, right? Everything moves in circles. Our circulatory system, our breath. We've got to inhale, and we've got to exhale. You ever notice a lot of times when we or practitioners start a prayer, we go, take a breath. Let it go. Because there's this new opening when we let it go. Fully go. We just empty, and there's a new opening for something new to happen. So that's just another reminder to let the good come in and out of our lives. So one more thing, in opening up the faucet and really unleashing our prosperity, there is another method that I have used to increase the massive prosperity in my life. And that is, in all things give thanks. In all things give thanks. Heard that before? In all things give thanks. Well, here's what I'm going to tell you. This is money, and it's God in action. In all things give thanks. So I invite you. This is merely an invitation for you to practice and to experience. Do not let this come into your hands electronically, Apple Pay, it don't matter. Starbucks app, don't let anything, when you load your Starbucks app, give thanks. When you receive a paycheck, give thanks. When you receive an invitation to lunch and somebody pays for you, give thanks. See, as it comes in, do not let anything come in the form of this without giving thanks. And do not let anything move from you in the form of this without giving thanks. Thank you for my water bill. Thank you for the mortgage payment. Thank you every time you put something here on Sundays. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And in all things and good, give thanks. You'll see, I believe, that this action will grow tremendously. Tremendously. Because it's an infinite source. There is nothing limited about this, no more than what Dr. Peter said last week about the leaves on a tree. It's the same thing. And life keeps flowing. So as it comes in, give thanks. As it's out, give thanks. So I love this quote from Ernest Holmes. He says, life is the eternal givingness, the offering of the cosmic self to the joy of its own fulfillment. You and I are part of this joy, and we find fulfillment only as this joy passes through us to others. Everything moves in circles. We short circuit our own good when we refuse to pass it on. We short circuit our own good when we refuse to pass it on. So this is one of the many reasons that we practice what we talk here at CSLDallas. We practice tithing. So as you are committed givers, you give to this community so that we all can receive wonderful celebration Sundays, classes, opportunities to come together through dinner friends, circles, meetups, sanghas, all of it, right? And so we tithe outside of here. So 10% of what comes in what we call our offerings, our committed giving, goes out. Peter, can you come up here for a second? And yeah. And so, in all things, give thanks. In all things, give thanks. And so CSLDallas wants to thank you. I'm going to ask two greeters to come join us. CSLDallas wants to thank you. Because you are the reason why this place exists. And we want to thank you. We want to give thanks for each of you. And so in this moment, we are asking, Peter and I are going to do this. I only needed two. Thank you. Sorry. We want to give thanks. Physically.
Start in the back. You guys start.
In all things, give thanks. And we want to give thanks to you. If y'all want to start in the back, we'll start in the front. And we invite every single person, your age, nothing keeps us from this bounty of giving thanks. And so we invite you to take one. And
So this is our opportunity to say how much we are grateful for your
Thank you.
Under you, under you. shall be given to you. Press down, a good measure is shaken together. Yeah, press down, a good measure is shaken together. Yeah, press down, a good measure is shaken together. Yeah, press down, woo, a good measure is shaken together. Press down, a good measure is shaken together.
I'm gonna. So, how much fun was that to receive? Did you see how much fun we had giving it? All right, there's more.
Michael says there was Hey, Erica, grab some for us.
I don't know if he did earlier. I thought we gave them out earlier. Okay, I so want to acknowledge your willingness and ability to receive. You're good. I'm completely serious. Do you know that we're just about out? So we're just about out. Do you
Tip the
know
band.
that we have? We'll figure that out. So do you know that we've had leftovers? You're welcome. We've had leftovers, and nobody comes and takes it. Yeah. It's really true what Karen says, right? It's giving and receiving. It's a circle. So thank you for letting us give back to you.
So here's what I want you to know. Here's what I want you to know. In that is, again, every month our prosperity manager Stefan figures up the tithe, and so this was August tithe. It was $6,060, and it's brought right back here. So that's just what happened. Because of your willingness to give, so shall ye receive. So let's stand up and thank each other this time. Yes.
Press down, a good measure was shaken together. Yeah, press down, a good measure was shaken together. Yeah, press down, a good measure was shaken together. Running over, for by a standard of measure, it shall be measured in return. Unto you, unto you, unto you. Like you said in 638, the Boogaloo. Well, come on now, give, and it shall be given to you. Press down, a good measure and shaking together, running over, give, and it shall be given to you. Press down, a good measure and shaking together. Press down, I said press down, a good measure and shaking together. Press down, a good measure and shaking together. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. So
Hey, Petra?
you may be seated and.
And by the way, all the children participated today too.
Oh, yes. Yes, all of our kids up in YFM participated in this. So I want to tell you that we've been doing this now almost every year, on and off, since 1999. And in 1999, the envelopes were filled with 1s, 5s, and 10s, because that's all the prosperity that we had at the time. And now our envelopes are filled with 10s, 20s, and a few 50s, and even a couple of hundreds scattered around in there. Yeah. And that's how abundant we are, right? And when we give of such joy, Yeah. So this is the opportunity that we have to give of our a normal tithes and gifts, and I am completely serious. Please receive your gift. Please do not put it back in the offering basket. Let us give to you. All right, while the baskets are being passed, I do have a few announcements. There's lots of stuff going on.